And in Donegal, my next guest is one of the most influential sports agents in the world. He has even been described as the Irish Jerry Maguire. He's the man behind Olympic gold medalist Usain Bolt and Mo Farah, here to tell us what it's really like to manage the fastest man on the planet. Would you welcome, please, Ricky Simms, ladies and gentlemen.
Keep on running from our love. One day I'm gonna be the one to make it understand.
You're very welcome. Thank you very much. Well, first of all, tell us what it is you do. Give us a job description, if you could.
We manage international athletes, so we arrange their competitions, so it's performance management, their PR diary, the commercial endorsements that they get, and that's the typical agent things. And further, we also arrange their travel, accommodation, financial planning, investments. If they want to buy a car, we help them with that. If they want to buy a house, we help them with that. If they want to split up with their girlfriend, we help them with that. If they want to make up with their girlfriend, we help them with that. So whatever they need.
Gosh, you're brilliant. You do everything.
Not always well, but I try.
Not always well, okay. So you're from Milford,
Yep.
Donegal, and then we think of the likes of Usain Bolt from Jamaica. How does somebody from Milford end up looking after the likes of the fastest man on earth?
Well, I guess I've always been into sport. I was a member of Finn Valley Athletic Club, which is a big athletic club there. And the guy in charge of that is Patsy McGonigal, who was the manager of the Irish athletics team for the last 3 Olympic Games. And I was an athlete myself, but Patsy saw that I also was good at organising and dealing with children and stuff. So
Sure.
I helped him out a lot with the club, and also got a little bit involved in Irish athletics. And then I studied in Jordanstown. I did sports studies there, and I did that postgrad in education. So my whole life was really coaching and helping people in sport. And then I worked in Limerick for a year in the National Coaching and Training Centre, and I got to meet and got to know some of the top Irish athletes, the likes of Sonia O'Sullivan, and through Jared Hartman, who's recognised as one of the world's top physiotherapists. He works with a lot of the Kenyan athletes and a lot of the American athletes, so they would be in Limerick, and I would be hanging out with them. And through that, I got to a guy called Kim MacDonald, who was one of the biggest sports agents and the person behind a lot of Sonia's success, especially in the 90s.
And he would have had a lot of people on his books, wouldn't he?
Yeah, he had about probably 50, 60 clients at that time. A lot of long distance runners, especially from Kenya.
Yes.
And they're the best at long distance. And I met Kim, and I went over to work for him, and I worked for him for 2 years, and he passed away quite suddenly in 2001. And then myself and my partner, Marion Staniger, we kind of headed up the company and took it from there. That's
took it from
quite
there.
a long time ago now.
Were you handy enough as an athlete yourself?
I was good in Donegal, but I never made Olympic Games. I was never good enough to do that.
Yeah.
So I think when I moved to London, I recognised these guys were quite a bit better than me. So that's when I
So you decided to shift into the one thing that you're... So you ended up heading this business, and you've been with Usain Bolt since he was 15, is that right?
Yeah, he was, I think, 2002, 2003, we tried to diversify into other events as opposed to just long distance, and we had some Jamaican athletes, and Usain, he was 15, and he was he won the under-20 championships, the world championships for under-20s, and it's very unusual for a 15-year-old to do that. So he was a huge talent in athletics, and traditionally kids in Jamaica would go to college in the United States, but he didn't really want to leave home, so he turned professional. He was good enough to turn professional, and at that point he needed a management company, and we were introduced, and that's a long time ago.
And when you say you're introduced, he could have been introduced to countless agents from all over the world. So how did you click with them? What happened?
I think he had Puma were working with a Jamaican team then, and they knew us and knew what we did, and we cared for athletes quite well, and they introduced us, and he everyone was after him. So, but at that time he was a good kid. You didn't know he was going to go on to do the things that he did. So. We were delighted to get him, but we didn't know it was going to be as big as it.
But you got on well, obviously, at a personal level, as well as everything else.
Yeah, people always ask, how does someone from Donegal? He comes from the country in Jamaica. It's not that different. It's very easygoing life. I think Jamaicans and Irish have got a lot of similarities. We're laid back. We like to have fun. We like to have a bit of crack. So we gelled from the start. Yeah.
And you mentioned that he could have been in the States. He could have gone for all of these things, but actually he's a homebird. Is he real? He's just into Jamaica, isn't he? He loves being there.
Jamaica, there's sun every day. He loves that. He hates the cold weather. He loves music. He loves the culture. He loves the food. So every day that he's here, he's asking, when am I going back?
Okay, so he likes where he's from, obviously. And what he does is extraordinary. Let's just remind ourselves of Usain Bolt at his best.
Final of the men's 100 metres.
Clean start. Great start there by Gatlin. Gatlin's powerful. Bolt is coming back. Bolt is in the lead. Usain Bolt. Gatlin attacks again. But it's Usain Bolt. And Bolt is home in 9.64 seconds. That's a wonderful time for Usain Bolt. Writes some history in the Olympic Stadium in East London. He is the fastest.
Phenomenal, isn't it? Every time. Yeah. So, Ricky, where are you when that race is being run?
I like to be. There's a warm-up track outside where the athletes prepare, warm up and psychologically prepare, and I love that part of the business. So I like to be there, and if someone's too excited or they need a little push to calm them down or talk to them, so I spend most of my time outside. I'll come in for the 20 seconds or the 2 or 3 minutes that he's on, and then he'll have 2 hours of interviews and media stuff to do afterwards, so we'll be there to help him through
do you get nervous before the race, or is it your job not to be nervous, or do you have to hide your nerves, or how does that work?
You kind of hide it, but this is what we do every day, so you're looking at a million different things, whereas foot plant is in the second step, third step, and things his coach have been telling him. So you have so many things going on that you're looking at and trying to arrange that you don't really have time to get nervous.
I understand. When we talk about Mo Farah, this other name that has become such a superstar, certainly in the UK, I don't know if it's an international thing, but we know about him here, and the Olympics he became such a big name. Did he live with you when you first took him on? Is that what happened?
Our main office is in London, in Teddington, and most from that area. So he used to come into the office every day before he was well known, and just cause trouble and what's going on. And then one day he said, "Can I live?" We have some houses there where the athletes stay when they're in Europe, particularly the Kenyan guys. And he said, "Can I move into the house?" And no one lives there all year round. It's just a place for them to base when they're racing in Europe. And I said, "Yeah, okay." He didn't have much money at the time, and said, "Yeah, we'll help you out." So we moved into the house. And that was a turning point in his career. He saw these guys were waking up at 6 o'clock in the morning to go running. They were going back to bed.
Yeah.
They were in bed at 8 o'clock at night. They're running 100 miles a week. And he was, I'd say, leading the more student life. He was, out late, playing video games, sleeping in, eating whatever he wanted. So I think he saw that, these guys take it seriously. And then we started sending him to Kenya to train with them. And then it developed to last year he beat them. So it's a great story.
So it is a good story, and it shows a bit of diligence and focus probably makes all the difference for athletes.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's a lot of, what you see about the best athletes, they're extremely focused and they work extremely hard.
Clear.
It looks easy there, but there's a lot of hard work.
Sure, of course. And you brought him to Donegal, didn't you, quite early on?
Yeah, we come home for Christmas usually for a couple of days, and Mo was kind of at a loose end, he had nothing much to do, and he said, "Do you want to come home with us?" And yeah, he spent the Christmas with us in Donegal and ran a race in Ballabufay.
Did he win?
He did, actually, and he broke a record. He set a British record and an Irish all-comers record, and that was, I think it was 2005 or 6, and the reception he got was the first time he'd ever got such a great reception. He was just starting to be good, and the people there, they knew athletics very well, and he was kind of blown away by the reception.
What did they do?
Just everyone wanted a photograph, everyone wanted autographs, and Mo was a very friendly, happy kind of guy, and he was, only too happy to be photographed with a pint of Guinness and everything.
He went native in Donegal
Absolutely,
for a little while he was there.
He was talking with a Donegal accent.
Was he?
Second day, yeah.
Next time he's here, I'm going to tell him to have a go at that.
Yeah, he'll definitely try.
You better get him match fit for that, by the way. When you think of Usain Bolt and indeed Mo Farah, you think of enormous personalities. I mean, they've become almost even on the chat show circuit, as well as their obvious skills on the track. Is that important to you to have guys with big personalities, or is that just secondary to their skills?
I think in sport, and particularly in athletics, the important thing is to win. You can be the nicest person, the happiest person, but if you're not winning, nobody's interested in you. And we even see it with Mo. In 2011, he won the World Championships, and he got great media attention afterwards for 4 or 5 months, and then at the start of 2012 he got 4th in the World Indoor Championships, and the phone was quiet for Mo. So even it comes and goes, how the world is. So sure. I think the important thing is winning, and of course if you've got a marketable personality.
But even if we look at the photo of the Bolt move that he does with his hands, and then you can see the Mobot and all this. This must be manna for you as an agent, because it just adds to the luster of the star, doesn't it?
You know, that all happened by accident.
Did it?
I didn't have a photo of the two guys because they were kind of not together much during the Olympics, and I said, "Oh, let's take a photo of the three of us." And there was 100 photographers around us, and they wouldn't give us a bit of peace. And then I said, "Okay, I'll step out. Let's take a photo of just you two guys." And they still wouldn't give us peace. There was no space to take it. So I said, "Hey, can everyone stand back for a minute?" And they ran out and got up on the podium, and they did that. It was kind of Usain's idea a little bit to do each other's pose, but it became the iconic photo of the Olympic Games, and I think the British government used it as a celebration of the Games.
Yeah, they sure did. When you're talking with Usain Bolt, because of his enormous fame now, when he comes to see you in London to do business, whatever, is it all fancy restaurants and sharp suits? I mean, is he a changed person, or is he very much the Jamaican guy who's just come good?
I think the beauty of Usain and why people like him so much is he's the same as he was at the start. Of course, he's seen a lot of the world, he's met a lot of people, so he's developed as a person. But if there's 2 people watching him or 2 million people watching him, he just behaves the exact same way. So, of course, we have a lot of nice things. We get to go nice places, meet famous people and do nice things, but behind the scenes there's a lot of hard work, and it's not as glamorous as it sometimes is.
Okay. Now, just on a serious point about you were in Boston, weren't you, at the marathon, and did you bear witness to anything or hear anything or see anything? Or
Yeah, I had an athlete competing there, and the elite athletes run about 2 hours 10 it was. He got second in the race, and the explosion happened just after 4 hours, so we were staying in a hotel on Copley Square, and the finish line is on Copley Square, so we were across the square, and we'd gone through our media, and we were just sitting down to have something to eat, and the explosions went off, and so we were safe where we were, but we were very close to the action. But the response team did very well. They put us in a room, they told us what was going on, and they tried to account for everyone, and we kind of watched it on TV developing.
Okay.
But
so you weren't concerned about safety, or
there was rumours that there were a lot of unexploded devices in the area, and our hotel was kind of the focal point of the race. So but the thing that's very sad is people do marathons for so many reasons.
Sure.
It's achievement if you can finish a marathon. You're doing it for loved ones, lost ones, etc. So when you stand at the finish line, you see people just so happy and so emotional crossing the line, and in 2 minutes to see from something that's very positive and very happy to go to something so a horror story. It's a complete contrast.
And then you had Mo in the marathon in London for a bit of it as well the following week, but he ran a bit of it, did he? Or
he ran the first half, and it's to prepare him for next year. He'll make his debut there, so knowing Mo for a very long time, he gets excited when the crowd are shouting his name, and there was an enormous media interest in him last week, so we just put him through the same routine that he's going to go through next year, and some people thought we were crazy, but it actually turned out very good in the end. He really benefited from it,
Now, you brought Mo to Donegal, and I know that you were doing a radio interview with, it was at Highland Radio in Donegal, and you gave the phone to Usain, wherever you were, and there was a promise pretty much made that you would bring him to Donegal. Now, Ricky, they won't forgive you if you don't bring him to Donegal, so when are you going to do it?
I've heard this quite a few times. We were out late the night before. It was after the Olympics, and we were getting a taxi.
Is that your excuse? Is that your get out of jail card?
It was him who said it, not me. So we were in a taxi back, and we were going to be in the taxi for 1 hour, and I was doing the interview, and he was kind of bored, and I said, "Hey, you want to talk?" And he started talking, so Highland Radio were delighted, and he said, I need to come soon, so I've been asked that question a lot of times. He's asked me many times, when are we going? His schedule is to try and find a weekend is tough, but I don't know if it'll be this year or next year, but it's going to happen for sure.
Oh, well, there's a proper commitment. It's going to happen sometime. You've got to bring him in here as well, don't you? We'd like to say hello to him if he's in town. Briefly then, before I let you go, I don't know if you keep an eye or watching brief on Irish athletics or not. Do you see much hope, or do you think that they're doing things the right way in this country?
I think athletics is a sport. Ireland had a huge success back in the days, and I think we're a small country compared to 60 million people in Kenya, and everyone wants to run. In Jamaica, we've got GA, rugby, football, so many other things. You can go on to TV shows and become a singer and a celebrity. And I think some of the countries that are doing very well, they don't have that. Athletics is there. Everyone wants to be a sprinter. Everyone wants to be a long distance runner. So if everyone who did sport were doing athletics, there's probably more talent out there, but I think we're doing well at the moment. I think we're
all
still,
things considered. It's been a pleasure to have you on the programme, Ricky, and thanks for coming to see us.
Thank you very much.
Ricky Sims, ladies and gentlemen.